you're trying to accomplish anything in life, you got to have an ability to turn a negative into a positive. That's a very hard thing to do. I mean, we all have bad things happen, from tragic things like you lose a family member or a loved one to you lose your job, or something bad happens at work, or you have to suffer a big defeat on a competition. I mean, you've got to have that ability to take that negative and turn it into a positive. Some people can do it naturally. I think some people have to learn how to do it. You know, I don't know if I learned how to do it or if it just came natural. I couldn't really answer that for you. But I hated to lose, right? And I want to be the best at what I did. And so no matter what happened, you know, speaking from my bodybuilding career and in my life in general, I could always turn it around and use it to fuel me to do better. Now, I'm gonna give an example here. It's pretty extreme. I have a friend, served in the military. He was blown up, burned over 80% of his body. You know, horribly burned, disfigured. But he has taken that and turned it into a very positive thing. He has become immensely successful. He's well known throughout the country, and he's not ashamed of it. He's never once heard him cry or have self-pity. He's trained that, he's embraced it, and turned it into a very positive thing. And he's recently got married and living a very successful life. And he took one of the worst things that could probably happen to someone, getting burned over your whole body severely, and turned it into a very positive thing. And he's a very successful, very happy life. And that's an extreme example. But you know, to a lesser extent, you know, when I tore my quad off the bone before the Olympia, should have been a career-ending injury, and had been for everyone else who had that injury at that point. But looking back on it, that's one of the best things that ever happened to me, because going through that, at the time I thought it was the worst thing that could happen. But I came back from it. I won the Arnold Classic, won many other shows after that, and it taught me, I learned a lot of lessons from that, and I learned a lot about myself, more importantly, through that whole process. And so it turned out to be a positive, and looking back on it, I wouldn't change a thing, as crazy as that sounds. You know, if I went to a competition and, you know, got my butt kicked, as soon as I could get back home, I was in the gym training, because whatever it is I need to improve on, if I need to bring a body part up or whatever it was I need to do, then I would go to work doing it. And, you know, I'm gonna give you an example. My back needed to come up, and you can't just bring your back up overnight, right? Especially if you're already a pro bodybuilder, you've been training for years and years. It's hard to make those changes. I knew it was gonna take years to do this, but I knew if I started right, the sooner I started, the better. And so I came up with a plan to do it. I changed my training, and I emphasized my back training, and I eventually brought my back up. And when I did, I started winning the big shows. So it's sometimes turning a negative to positive. It's not a quick fix. Sometimes it might take years to take that negative and turn it into a positive and make it a streak. And so that takes a lot of determination, a lot of discipline, once again, to do that, because generally if something's a weakness, we don't like to work on it because it ain't fun. If you're not good at spelling, you're in school, but that's a weakness. You got to work on that. It ain't fun, because if you're practicing it, you're going to fail and fail and fail and fail. And then you might start getting a little better, but you're still failing. But eventually you start doing better and better and better, and it becomes a strength. And so it's a hard thing to do. And that takes a lot of discipline and determination to take a negative and make it into a positive. It doesn't matter if it's in work, if it's in life, you work in a relationship, you know, and you're doing something, not necessarily your significant other, but if you're doing something in a relationship that's not good, it's negative, then you got to turn that into a positive. You got to work on yourself. That requires a lot of soul searching and looking inside to do that. And it's the same thing with a competition. You go and you lose, you got to look inside. Okay, what did I do wrong? Because let me tell you something. Everybody thinks it's always political. Well, if you're not winning consistently, it's because something's wrong with your body. That's right. So your prep is wrong, your training's wrong, your nutrition's wrong, presentation's wrong, something's wrong. Number one, you got to be able to identify what it is, and then from there, come up with a plan how to fix it. And then the third thing, which is the most important, is actually fixing it. And usually in life, things like that aren't quick fixes, guys. It might take months or years to take that and make it into a strength and make it into a positive. But that's something I prided myself in doing. At first, when I was younger, I did it without even knowing it. But then I realized at a certain point in my career that I was really good at taking something, a negative that happened to me, a defeat or whatever it was in life, and I could take that and turn it into a positive. And by doing that, you become stronger. And I think that's how champions are made.